This thing started with a nursery rhyme.
Rex Fortescue, the king, head of Consolidated Investments, a large, flabby man with a...
His tea was too weak to carry the payload. It was the marmalade. Taxine, the slow kill.
Oh dear, Mr. Fortescue, are you ill?
He yelled for his secretary. Her swan glide was a jittery mess.
The Flatfoots frisked the corpse. They found the first hook. A pocket full of grain. Rye. A pocket full of damn rye.
Your rigidity.
Everyone had a motive. His second wife, Adele, glamour all through, married him for the cash. His eldest...
Mr. Fortescue was doing a lot of things that Mr. Percival thought unwise. Terrified his father was running the firm onto the rocks.
Then there was the black sheep, Lance, the long-gone son. Forged a check once. The only thing that puzzled the inspector? The motive for the rye. Doesn't make sense.
Rex meant king, rye in his pocket, the rhyme fit. But the truth is always dirtier than the storybook.
She didn't mourn long.
The arsenic had been slipped into the teapot, or maybe the honey jar. The timing? Impossible to pinpoint.
Her death changed the game.
Suddenly, Percival, who was away during the first murder, stood to gain everything.
He needed Adele to die before the will's deadling. He was too clever, too precise. Except the poisoner made a mistake. A messy, ugly mistake. Gladys Martin, the maid.
I didn't do anything, I didn't really. Poor, simple, credulous Gladys. She'd seen something. A moment. A mistake.
She ran out to fetch the clothes, and whoever it was, he got to her. Strangled with a stocking.
The cruelest touch.
The inspector was baffled. 3 separate murders, 3 separate poisons, linked by a children's ride. The inspector tells her everything. The ride, the cyanide, the arsenic used on old Mr. Crackenthorpe in a...
Miss Marple only cares about one thing. The girl, Gladys, the victim.
She pieces together the lie. Gladys wasn't a killer. She was a stooge. Duped by a smooth-talk...
He fed her a story. The poison wasn't poison. It was a truth drug. Slip it into Fortescue's marmalade so he'd confess to the swindle.
The inspector suspects the old revenge motive. He thinks it's Ruby Mackenzie, daughter of the man Rex Fortescue swindled.
Miss Marple turns her sights back to the family, the core group, Lance Fortescue.
The Blackbird business is really a complete fake. Lance didn't come back to reconcile. He came back for the money. He knew his father was ill, wasting the fortune. He needed him. But he had a bigger score. The family was sitting on a ticking tontine. He and Percival were the... He needed the fortune simplified. Alfred was next. Harold was next.
And why did he murder the Queen, his stepmother Adele, the next day? Because he knew the will's deadline.
By killing Adele, the money reverted straight to the firm. And who inherited the firm? Percival. And who was trying to get a better split by threatening Percival? Lance.
It was a clean-up. A cold, magnificent plot of greed and calculation.
Enter Miss Jane Marple. She arrives in her old tweed coat and her little hat. Looks like a fluffy pink and white old lady. Acts like granite.
Miss Marple only cares about one thing. The girl, Gladys, the victim.
He fed her a story. The poison wasn't poison. It was a truth drug. Slip it into Fortescue's marmalade so he'd confess to the swindle.
The inspector suspects the old revenge motive. He thinks it's Ruby Mackenzie. She was only playing pranks.
The inspector turns his sights back to the family, the core group. Lance Fortescue, the charming black sheep. Lance didn't come back to reconcile. He came back for the money.
But why did he murder the Queen, his stepmother Adele, the next day? Because he knew the will's deadline.
The poison didn't stop. Lucy made a curry one night. Delicious. The whole family, Emma, Harold, Cedric, Alfred, fell violently ill. All except Lucy.
The inheritance pie was getting bigger. Now, the fortune would be split into 3, not 5. But Craddock missed the elegance of the plan. Alfred was just a casualty. The poisoner's focus was clear, and it was cold. Then came Harold, the respectable city man. He received a package in London. Harold died. The tontine had claimed its second son. The money would now be split between the 2 survivals, Cedric and Emma. And the final question, who was the poisoner? Cedric, the cynical bohemian, planning to sell the land for a
Miss Marple, still remote but ever present, recognized the pattern. The killer had to be someone. She had a hunch. A sudden, terrifying thought that tied the cold-blooded arsenic plot right.
Miss Marple called Elspeth McGillicuddy back from Ceylon. She needed her granite witness for one last performance.
Dr. Quimper walked in for his birthday tea, unaware that he was walking straight into a trap. He was a familiar face, a friendly ear, and the trusted medical authority who had been managing the poison.
Marple feigned a choking fit, caused by a fake fishbone in her sandwich. Quimper
rushed to her side, leaning over her, his hands holding her head, just as he had done to his wife on the train.
The door opened. Mrs. McGillicuddy walked in. She saw the doctor bent over the old lady.
But that's him.
For the second time in her life, the stout, sensible woman witnessed the act of strangulation.
That's the man in the train.
Quimper, exposed, lunged at Mrs. McGillicuddy, but Cedric and Brian, the suspects he'd been framing, tackled him. The wife on the train? She was Anna Stravinska, a dancer. The Martine letter was a calculated diversion.
Miss Marple, gentle but firm, adjusted her shawl. She didn't need logic.
The entire plot. The vanished body. The sarcophagus. The tontine poisoning. Quimper's wife, Anna, was a devoted Catholic who refused him divorce. He killed her to be free to marry Emma.
The murders of Alfred and Harold were simple greed. With those 2 dead, Emma would inherit the bulk of the fortune. Quimper would marry Emma, and they would live happily ever after.
The truth is never a secret to Hercule Poirot.
Miss Marple, gentle but firm, adjusted her shawl. She didn't need logic. She needed observation.
Guys, the entire plot, the vanished body, the sarcophagus, the tontine poisoning, was orchestrated by one man who created...
The murders of Alfred and Harold were simple greed. With those 2 dead,
He forgot the mongoose. He forgot granite. He forgot that sometimes a simple elder...
The truth, however ugly in itself, is always curious and beautiful to the seeker after it.
the simplest kind of crime. So many men seem to murder their wives.
The money would now be split between the 2 survivors, Cedric and Emma.
The truth is simple and terrible.
The body wasn't found outside, which meant it was found inside, tucked away. The place? The next step was the assumption. The killer was someone who knew the hall intimately, someone who could drive a car under the railway arch. Then there was Brian Eastley, the amiable Adrift fighter pilot.
The police confirmed it. Arsenic in the curry. This wasn't a mistake.
The inheritance pie was getting bigger. Now, the fortune would be split into 3, Not
The stage was the drawing room of Rutherford Hall. The prop was a silver tablespoon. The target was the doctor.
But that's him!
Quimper, exposed, lunged at Mrs. McGillicuddy. The killer had been the kind doctor. The wife on the train? She was Anna Stravinska, a dancer. The Martine letter was a calculated
The truth, however ugly in itself, is always curious and beautiful to the seeker after it.
The simplest kind of crime. So many men seem to murder their wives.